Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're in the middle of an internecine fight in the room over whether we need to clean up this area. I don't think so, because you can't see what it looks like in here. I can, and I'm fine with it. Welcome to A Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Last night, I talked about the governors who have decided to reopen their states in opposition to clear federal guidelines. But one day later, I am happy to report that cooler heads have prevailed in our nation's leadership, because the Insane Clown Posse is calling off its annual gathering of the Juggalos Festival. They've also officially changed their name to the Rational Clown Posse. Of course, I know this move will disappoint fans of ICP, known as Juggalos, seen here confusing their grandparents. Well, yesterday, the Clown Posse's record label, Psychopathic Records, issued this statement. With thousands of deaths during the COVID-19 outbreak, we refuse to risk even one Juggalo life by hosting a gathering during these troubling times. So these guys respect science more than the governor of Georgia. Well, it makes sense. I mean, they've always wanted explanations based on hard science.
Water, fire, air, and dirt. Magnets, how do they work?
Hey, you know who I wish believed in science as much as the Insane Clown Posse? The Insane Clown President. It turns out that the director of the lead federal agency searching for a coronavirus vaccine was fired because of his concern about Trump's coronavirus treatment theory. Evidently, Dr. Trump is canning any medical experts just because they disagree with his random notions of health. You know, any day now, the new food pyramid is going to look like this. The particular official in question is former director of the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority and Husky Anderson Cooper, Dr. Rick Bright. That's right. Trump fired a guy named Dr. Bright. He also let go Professor Smarty, Dr. Savior, and Secretary I Have the Cure, Don't Fire Me. Apparently, behind the scenes, Dr. Bright opposed the cure that Trump kept pushing. What was that again?
Chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. The hydroxychloroquine, the chloroquine, the hydroxychloroquine, chloroquine. What do you have to lose? Take it. I really think they should take it.
That is the most blatant presidential drug pushing since the 1956 campaign, Ike Likes Coke. Trump's been pushing this drug even though there's been no conclusive research. And after being fired, Dr. Bright said, I believe this was in response to my insistence that the government invest the billions of dollars allocated by Congress to address the COVID-19 pandemic into safe and scientifically vetted solutions and not in drugs, vaccines, and other technologies that lack scientific merit. Hey, look, my ideas don't lack scientific merit. They lack any merit. You ready for another idea? Boof, some Listerine. Couldn't hurt. I mean, it stings, but that's how you know it's working. Even with Dr. Bright gone, the president isn't without any medical advice because Trump regularly tells visitors to the Oval Office that he is in touch with doctors in New York, including his own, who, I will remind you, looks like this. Hello, I'm Dr. Kooky. Maybe we can cure your coronavirus with some loose pills I found in the cup holder of my Camry. Ooh, one of them's a gel cap. It's got to do something. Dignity. Always dignity. Dr. Bright's not the only expert that Trump is shutting up. Enter CDC director and man passionately describing his stolen maracas, Dr. Robert Redfield. On Tuesday, Dr. Redfield told the Washington Post that there's a possibility that the assault of the virus on our nation next winter will actually be even more difficult than the one we just went through. And if you don't remember how difficult this past winter was, it had Trump's acquittal, the Australian bushfires, and Cats the movie. Dr. Redfield said it would be a tough winter because we'd be fighting a flu epidemic and a coronavirus epidemic at the same time. And Redfield added that it hasn't been easy explaining this to everyone. When I've said this to others, they kind of put their head back. They don't understand what I mean. Yes, others got very confused. Others stopped listening to me, turned on some cartoons, and I had to say, this is important, President Others. Now, others wasn't happy about Redfield saying this to the Washington Post, so he summoned Dr. Redfield to his daily press briefing and said there's a simple explanation.
Dr. Robert Redfield was totally misquoted in the media on a statement about the fall season and the virus. Totally misquoted. I spoke to him. He said it was ridiculous. He was misquoted, totally misquoted.
Okay, I guess he was totally misquoted in the Washington Post.
I'm accurately quoted in the Washington Post.
There you go. It's a case of he said, yeah, that's exactly what he said. Redfield then tried to explain that he had been right all along, but so had Trump.
I think it's really important to emphasize what I didn't say. I didn't say that this was going to be worse. I said it was going to be more complicated or more difficult. Doesn't mean it's going to be more impossible. Doesn't mean it's going to be more, as some people have said, worse. It just means it's more difficult.
How can something that's more difficult not be worse? I didn't say 9 was bigger than 7. I just said it was more number. Additional many. Trump went one step further and said next year's virus won't be worse. There may not be a virus at all.
If the corona even comes back, and he doesn't know that it's going to, it is estimated it might not come back at all, Jeff. It may not come back at all. I personally hope it doesn't come back in the fall.
You hope? Mr. President, hope is not a plan. I hope you don't come back in the fall. But that doesn't mean I haven't stockpiled medicine in case you do. Oh, massive doses. Still, hearing that the virus may not come back was comforting. For a while.
We will have coronavirus in the fall. I am convinced of that. There will be coronavirus in the fall.
So we just better pray the coronavirus is cured by pumpkin spice. But don't think the president doesn't value expertise. Oh, no. We just found out that Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar tapped a former dog breeder to lead the government's day-to-day response to the coronavirus. Sure, but why not just cut out the middleman and appoint a dog? My dog Benny's available. Right up here. Come on. Up, up, up. Ship. There you go. There you go. See? Now, technically, he's a dog breeder, too, because he hasn't been fixed. Want some turkey? There you go. Now, Benny, up here. Come on. Up, 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 up. There you go. Say hi to the people. Do you have any ideas about how to fight the coronavirus? What's that? What's that? Give you more turkey. I'm not sure how that would help, but as a great man once said,
What the hell do you have to lose?
here you go. Here you go. Get it, up here. There you go. That's right. You're going to be the head of infectious disease. That's right. That's right. You're going to be the head of the NIH. That's right. That's right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. No more turkey. He's gonna go straight for my throat. The dog breeder in charge of keeping you alive is Brian Harrison. And until 2018, he ran a company called Dallas Labradoodles. Well, now we know who crossbred Trump's hair. Trump's gotten a lot of criticism for how he's handled the crisis, but yesterday he unveiled a new plan to fix everything.
I'm excited to announce that in the coming weeks, the Air Force Thunderbirds, they're incredible, and the Navy Blue Angels, equally incredible, will be performing air shows over America's major cities and some of the cities that aren't major cities. We're paying tribute to our frontline healthcare workers confronting COVID.
That's right. He's fighting a respiratory virus with our military, just like in the Tom Cruise classic, Top Lung. But of course, a fighter jet flyby isn't just fun and games.
They're going to be doing a lot of work, a lot of very dangerous flying. It's dangerous. You know the odds when you start going at massive speeds and you're 18 inches away from each other.
18 inches, that is dangerous. I mean, those planes should be flying at least 6 feet apart. And guess what? You can't go outside to watch it. Because in order to avoid drawing crowds, the planes will avoid flying over areas where people can congregate. So you'll just get to hear them roar overhead. Still, all in all, a beautiful tribute, briefly giving each and every American a sense of what it's like to live near LaGuardia. Now, during the pandemic, Congress has been approving money for states that are struggling, but that could all end soon thanks to Senate Majority Leader and profile in porridge, Mitch McConnell. Yesterday, Senator McConnell said that instead of getting any more money from the federal government, states should consider bankruptcy. Bankruptcy? Really? They're American states, not Trump casinos. And, unsurprisingly, McConnell's screw the states plan isn't very popular with the states. Not even among conservatives. Last night, New York Republican Congressman Peter King tweeted that taking away funding for cops, firefighters, and healthcare workers makes McConnell the Marie Antoinette of the Senate. That's a powerful mental image. I wonder what that would look like. I have seen too much. I must wipe away my eyes. Hey, I'm very excited about my guest tonight, billionaire philanthropist and Velma from Scooby-Doo, Bill Gates. Gates warned the world that we weren't ready for a pandemic in a TED Talk back in March 2015. Notice that despite his dire prediction, he's wearing a cheery pink sweater. The worse the news, the happier his outfit. Tonight, I just pray he's not dressed as a Teletubby. We have got a show for you tonight. As I said before, I'm talking to Bill Gates. Here are the actual questions. Then I will be joined by the stars of Homeland, Claire Danes and Mandy Patinkin to talk about the series finale this Sunday. Stick around.